Yo, what's good is Boogie. I'm on Staten Island Ferry. This is something that I used to do when I first got sober. And I'm saying it because it's July 7th, July 8th will be 4 years tomorrow, will be 4 years that I've been clean and sober. Now, I know I'm talking kind of low because of my subject content, but I had to learn how to get out and do things for myself. You know, do things to keep me busy other than I used to just sit in, drink and smoke all the time. You know, without getting into all the details, I would just say shortly before that, it was July 4th weekend too, and I was getting saucy and, you know, um, because I had lost my the place that I was staying at. I had to kind of stay with my mom for a minute because I had shoulder surgery. It wasn't because I was irresponsible, but I had shoulder surgery and I got on workers' comp, and it wasn't enough to pay the rent where I was at. And so living with my mom kind of exposed some of my habits, and she didn't like it, and I didn't like that feeling of somebody actually kind of judging how I was living my life. So after a while, it kind of came to a head, and July 4th weekend, you know, it was a big thing, and I had an emotional breakdown about it, and felt like garbage, and didn't want to be here no more, and it was pretty rough. But I did join a outpatient program, and I had a therapist as well, and I went to the I went to the shelter July 6th, and I had a meeting, an online meeting, a Zoom meeting with my therapist, and I told her about how I was feeling and everything. And the thing about it is that she actually heard me. She was like, "Wait a minute, you said what? Like, no, we almost lost you. Seriously?" We had a really good rapport. She helped me to validate and understand a lot that was going on with me. And she just asked me that day, she was like, "Do you mind, just for today, maybe not drinking? I'll get you hooked up with an AA program just for today." I was like, I don't know, I don't know. And I had drank the day before, but didn't start that day. And I said, okay, or whatever. From the time that I said that, I was in Central Park at the time, and this lady was walking with this dog, uh, white, one of them big Labrador Retriever, like Lassie kind of dogs. As she was walking by me after I finished telling her, okay, I'll do it for that day, that dog jumped on my lap and laid in my lap, like. And the lady was like, she didn't know that the dog was gonna do that. She was like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, "No, it's okay. It's okay." And that was my first affirmation that I was on the right path. And and I listened to some meditations, some self affirmations. You can do anything that you put your mind to, and that was encouraging too. Everything was just starting to line up, and plus seeing people in the shelter who was on that K2, and they was getting dusted, and you know that helped me, like, yo, I don't want to be like that. And then when I got settled in the shelter that I was going to be in, the veteran shelter in Brooklyn, um, the room that I actually got stationed in, what had a 1 year coin. I didn't bring it with me yet, but I usually do keep it with me. But it had a 1 year AA coin, and I was like, that was another sign. I'm telling you, as I was going to the VA hospital and things like that, I found this amethyst stone, the purple one, and I looked that up, and that was a stone for sobriety as well. So I just had a whole bunch of little signs, and I guess from there, like, I was always in tune with God, but of course, drinking and doing all of those things inhibits your connection, believe it or not. So the longer I got sober, the more clearer things started to become. But it took a while. It's not like overnight. It's not like you snap your fingers and flip the switch 2 days, 3 days, a week later. No, it's just kind of gradual. And after a while, after I got a day in, I was like, okay. And then when I got 3 days in, which was the longest for a while, I was like, let me let's see keep this going. I didn't want to just stop drinking totally, but It's like, well, let me see. And I started going to my meetings on Zoom. And I still go to meetings to this day. You wouldn't know it. I don't go every day, but I go and I have a community there with friends that I call friends that know we can relate more with each other. And I actually pull a lot from those meetings as well. Um, and then shortly after that, other than going places like going on the ferry and doing cheap things that you didn't have to spend a lot, like summer jams and things like not summer jam, but like Summerfest, free concerts, and Coney Island and that kind of stuff. And I started writing again, and I wrote my first rap in a while. And when I said it to my peers in the shelter, they was like, "Yo, that joint is hot." And I took it to the studio. That encouraged me, and that's what I met Dollar, and it just kept going from there. You know what I'm saying? And here we are today. I'm kind of making it short, but uh, I guess I'm just saying that sobriety has been my superpower ever since. And I am happy that I am 4 years. I couldn't even imagine being like this. I used to drink to the point where I'd be throwing up and still trying to get myself together so I could put another one in. You know what I mean? Like smoking and doing all that stuff. So thank you for everybody that took the time to listen, to hear my story. It's very short. The documentary would have been a little bit longer. There was I was very skinny at sometimes. I was messing with Molly and white girl, as I would call it, and that kind of stuff. And you can get stuck in that real easy. And then you don't know how you're ever going to be able to get out of it because it becomes such a part of your life that, you can't see your life without it. But you think, oh, if I go out and I can't have fun because everybody's going to be drinking. But then you start seeing things different because everybody doesn't drink. Some people don't drink because they never drank. Some people don't drink for different reasons. Some people don't drink because they're driving. But the perception that when you're an alcoholic is that everybody drinks and you can't have fun without drinking. I didn't think I would be able to be funny, relax, chill out, things like that. And sometimes I still struggle with that a little bit. Sometimes I think I'm too serious sometimes. But I managed to get a couple jokes in and get some laughs in. And even when it came to intimacy and stuff like that, you know, it was always like I had to have one in me in order to be intimate with someone. And then when you start clearing your head and you start realizing like, damn, well that person always had to have one in them to be with you, then you kind of see it a little bit different, but you know where you came from, And as alcoholic, I always be an alcoholic, but I'm not like that kind of person, like an evangelist. Once they get saved and everything, they try to convert everybody. That's not me. But if you're ever thinking about like you may have a problem with it's something that you want to delve into or understand a little bit better, and you ask me how I did it or whatever, I can tell you. I can tell you one thing. I had to make a choice. After a while, it was like, yeah, I'm doing so much better without it that, I don't need it. That's one. And being in the program. And there's nothing wrong with it. That's a personal and private thing. That's why it's called anonymous. But I'm just sharing it with you because I know that people need to know how I'm doing it. So you're gonna need God, you're gonna need support, you're gonna need to know that you can't do this on your own type of thing. And the other thing with the God part, like a lot of people will have problems with the God part. You don't have to be a certain religion or anything like that. Just go and just learn what you need, hear what you hear from other people. A lot of stories will sound like yours. The God part, it'll come in God's time. That's the thing. God has his own time for everybody. It's unique. You understand what I'm saying? So my trip is almost over. We're about to dock. I figured this would be a good time to just share that with y'all guys. So there goes. I think I'm scared to put my phone out there. Make sure I hold it too. But yep, you got to get out. You got to do things. You got to replace people, places, and things, people that no longer really serve you, people start treating you different as if they can't be themselves around you. Me, I'll pour the drink for you because I just know that I made it in my mind that I don't drink, so I'm good. I can't be around people like I won't be around people who are just belligerently drunk and stuff like that. No, I'm not gonna be in a place where I know that after hours, like way, way after hours, and when people are just totally shit faced, do I need to be there? No. But go to a party, go to an event, what I mean? People smoking, drinking. I'm all good because I'm confident in who I am, where I stand, and I'm good on it. You know what I mean? So, thanks again for listening. I know it's a long video. Some things you just can't do in 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, so stay collective, and if you thinking about changing your ways, taking a new path, you can always do that. Started working out and everything, started getting strong, gain some good weight, gain some good mind. You gotta replace some of that stuff too. You gotta replace a lot of stinking thinking. Because you'd be disappointed, you'd be depressed and stuff. You don't think that you deserve better until you start doing better. And then when you do get right with God, you forgive yourself, forgive others, you make amendments with people. You gotta clear your slate and dump the junk and put new stuff in. Stuff that's gonna serve you, stuff that's gonna enlighten you, motivate you, encourage you, inspire you to be better. You know what I mean? And you won't regret it. Okay. Peace, stay collected.